DJ Bird, Exit made this.
Okay, guys, welcome to the Don Bashrah Talks. And today, guys, as you're seeing here, we have 10N8E Esports with us here, and we have the none other than the general manager here, Rio. So, and I know that many of us here know who Rio is, but seems like today we're getting the chance to talk with him face to face, personally. Okay, so guys, here we have Rio, the man who actually founded, if you guys have heard La Cap de Africana, well, he is the man behind the scene. Actually, not many know him, but here we go. We have him now here with us live, telling us his journey with the esports industry. So let me not get much into the intro, because I'll add up some honey there and some salt and some spices. We can see the monster, right? We can see the monster.
Okay, no, come on. All right, yeah.
Okay, so here we have
Really don't
now
bash.
our guest, Rio. So, Mr. Rio, tell us about yourself and what you have accomplished here, and yeah, tell us a bit about the history with you and the esport industry.
Okay, thank you first of all for having me, Dombash, and everyone on
Most
stream.
welcome.
I'm really excited to be here and um, talking to you guys at this point in time at the just a few days to the end of the year 2022. So we're going to remember this as happening in this year and not next year. So that's going to be really cool because it's been a long journey. First of all, my name is Rio, and an esports enthusiast. I am a professional esports player, also a community manager, general manager, and I've worked on a few projects regarding esports in Africa, mainly behind the scenes, because I don't play competitively. I more of like manage and try to organize the team, give them a structure and a play pattern, and stuff that they can work with. So people don't really see me in that comp scene. So I tend to work behind the scene most of the time. So Rio is just a regular gamer, a regular player, and somebody that is passionate about the growth of esports in Africa. So we started all of these in 2017. Myself and a few of my friends, and we started on PUBG Mobile, and then it was like season one, and it was really crazy because we had to start organizing the community, start organizing tournaments, mini tournaments where Nigerians could play with themselves, and we also were then observing what was going on in other African countries like Ghana, South Africa, Tanzania, Kenya. We also discovered that Egypt, Somalia, Morocco. We also discovered that these countries also have like PUBG mobile communities and activities that they've been running and doing just to engage their players. So I thought of, oh, it would be a great idea for us to break the boundaries to have country to country tournaments, not just country based tournament. Because back in 2018, it was like we were just trying to entertain ourselves, trying to just preserve the culture nationwide. I think Ghana too also have their tournaments that they were hosting. South Africa had like a major community then called the South African Gaming Community, like SAGC, and that was a major community back then because it was South Africans doing a lot of South African streams and stuff, Nigerians doing a lot of Nigerian streams and stuff. So shout out to Game Nation. They started as PUBG squads, so these guys also helped build the PUBG mobile community from the onset. It's been really crazy to see where we started from and see where we are at right now. Having talks with game publishers, having talks with developers, with community managers and brands and stuff like that. So it's been a long journey, and it's something that I can say that it's been fun so far. So I feel like what really helped us in Africa to really grow the scene is where when we discover that we can play with each other, we can break that boundaries of like having Nigerians playing against Tanzanians, having Nigerians playing against Kenyans, having screams of South Africans represented, Somalians represented, Namibians represented, Zambians represented, Zimbabweans represented, Egyptians, Moroccans, so I mean, Mauritius and so well, so a lot of countries too that actually have good infrastructure, not the best infrastructure per se, but something that they can work with. So we in Africa, we always love to start from wherever we are. We know how to make the best use of our resources, no matter how little they are. So I feel like carrying all the other African countries along is like top priority for me and my team back then, and seeing what every country's involvement, like in terms of esports involvement, teams involvement, global participation, it's more like a dream come true to see like South African teams, Tanzanian teams, Kenyan teams, Ghanaian teams. They're all going represented in Bali, being represented in Istanbul. They are being invited for major competitions. For me, it's more like, wow, how did we even get here, right? So it's major. It's major. So that's just like the journey so far. Just mini journey so far.
And Well, actually, we have also some Kenyans there have been represented in Istanbul. But
Ah, yes.
the game title is not PUBG. The game title is another one. Dota.
Uh,
There's Dota,
also,
FIFA. Yeah, those were the guys who were represented in Istanbul, representing
uh,
Kenya. That is, huh? Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so you've told us about yourself. So what now can you tell us about 10 and 8E Esports?
Right. Okay. First of all,
Mm,
I can't talk about Rio, the modern Rio, without talking about 10N8E, because 10N8E is literally the driving force behind all the innovative ideas that have been coming up with of late. We have the boss, Mr. Adebayor, a very creative individual that have lots of international ideas that I've been benefiting from, and so I can't literally say that the modern Rio is a brand without the 1080 brand. So there's no way I won't talk about 1080 eventually. So for 1080, the idea behind the company is and the esports organization is to empower the gamers to focus more on content creation. We are a tournament hosting organization. We also into talent management for creators. We are also into merchandising as well. Like we have merch, like very authentic merch that literally, I mean, you can see
yeah.
anywhere. And so we have stuff like this in place, and pretty much 1080 is just about giving back to the community, trying to ensure that every gamer gets that limelight to earn, to know their place in the community, to be able to at least be creative. We are willing to work with gamers and publishers and creators and anybody willing to work with us. We're willing to help them grow their dream in the African esports scene, because if we have Dombash doing very well in Kenya, we have Alikara doing very well in Kenya, we have let's say Mo doing very well in Tanzania, and we have Maram doing very well in Egypt, we have Dids doing very well in Mauritius, we have Enigma doing very well in South Africa. So if we have these all these guys representing the esports scene in all of these countries in Africa, I feel like it's a plus, it's a big win for the region, it's a big win for the continent, and eventually we are putting ourselves on that global scene. So for me, that's what really matters. That's the big win for us at 1080. So that's our goal, to grow not just the Nigerian esports scene, the entire African esports scene.
So it's like you want to go with the continent as a whole.
Oh yes, yes, we have
Yeah,
to go with the
and
continent.
and
We
and
have
not
to go as a force.
yeah, and not just as a country, as a region.
Not at all. Not at all. Not just as a
Oh,
region.
okay.
Just as a region. Yeah.
Okay, so because as per my research, I've actually come to realize that 10 and 80E are the biggest tournament organizers in Africa, of which it came to a bit of a surprise because many of the people I have been playing with here in the Eastern Africa, I've not
Yeah.
heard about that community, the organization. So I was
Yeah.
wondering, how did you guys be so big yet you have not yet marketed yourself in all the regions? How did you do that?
All right. Very great question.
Yeah.
So so being very big is relative, right? I'm not gonna say that we are the biggest, right? Because I don't want to take the credit for being the biggest in Africa. It's good for us to have competitors, people that we can look up to, people that can inspire us to do better. Because if we are the best, then who are we gonna learn from, right? So I would rather not be the best, so would rather not take that position. But however,
Okay.
the reason why we haven't really been visible in other African countries, even if we have been working behind the scenes with publishers in other, publishers and creators in different countries and continents, and still in some parts of Africa, is simply because we are trying to grow inward out, right? We don't want to grow outward in. So we want to see how we can start from Nigeria, which is what 10N8E is about, right? 10N8E is about the Nigerian esports ecosystem first. America first, then the world. Tanzania first, then the world. Let's just accept it, right? Yeah. Then Africa first, then the world, right? So let's be South African
you
first,
always start where
Africa.
you are from.
So yeah. So just being realistic, right? It's good for you to grow inward out. So you're not just trying to conquer Africa and coming back to your country where they don't
Okay.
know you. And oh, you are popular everywhere in Africa, but we don't know you at home, right? Nobody knows who you are
Oh.
in Nigeria. So it's not going to be a good publicity for me. It's not a good marketing strategy. It's not a good look. So that's why we aren't really popular in other African regions yet, because we are growing outward. We are now beginning to interact with some creators, some communities, some esport organizations in Ghana, in Tanzania, in Kenya, in South Africa too as well. We haven't really started building a relationship in some other regions like Zimbabwe, Zambia, Egypt, and other regions. But we're just going to take it one step at a time. We can't really rush it. But one thing that we know for sure that we've been able to do is we've been able to really, really contribute to the growth of esports in Nigeria, in West Africa, and partially Africa too as well, but in Nigeria, strongly in Nigeria. Yeah, that's one thing that we've been able to do, because we are the organizers of the Nigerian Pro League, which is the most prominent PUBG Mobile league in West Africa as a whole. So this league has been in existence for the past 5 years. Next year is going to make it sixth. It's only one title being won every year. We don't have 2 seasons. We don't have 3 seasons. We only have one season per year and one MPO champion every year. So this is the
Oh,
MPO merch I'm putting on right now.
nice.
And for the season one, season two, we've had several champions. 4KT has dominated MPL several times and then on to dominate Africa. So we have citizens also coming into MPL as Wild Breed, and we usually have like 4KT coming into MPL back then as AG and stuff like that. So this whole team grew through the process, they grew through the system, and it wasn't easy organizing tournaments at that early stage, because we got a lot of criticism from the community, from organizers, for implementing some certain kind of rules which were like standard for esports tournaments, which is what people are really doing right now. We got criticized for imposing teams to all have the same name, which is just basic, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
back then it was like, why would I want to change my name? I love my name so much. Like, like you're gonna get the caster confused, you're gonna get the sponsors confused, and
Yeah.
nobody, so yeah. So pretty much that's what we've been able to do, try to at least structure the community and create a foundation that other brands can build on.
Okay. So I think that's actually regarding those name tags. Many people actually have been giving us some issues because they don't want to change the name. But the thing is,
Oh, okay. We
a
did that.
team.
We conquered that 3 years ago in
Okay.
Nigeria. It's no longer 18 anymore. Nigeria is now mandatory. You can't not comply with the team's rule. But it was a big issue 4 years
Hmm.
ago and 3 years ago. But right now, I don't think anybody has any issue like that. But it was a major problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
can imagine.
Yeah, I know that because I as a caster, sometimes if someone
Yeah,
doesn't have that enigma, that insignia,
yeah,
if someone doesn't have that one, my friend, I'm getting
yeah.
confused. I don't know which team this guy is.
Exactly though. Exactly
Yeah,
though.
so I think we should also impose that one in our area as well. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
you said about NPL hosting a league every year. So can you
Yes.
explain on which titles is NPL focusing on?
Oh, so MPL is majorly PUBG, So MPL's title is just focused on PUBG. It's been focused on PUBG for the past 5 years, and
Oh,
it's our biggest title, and it's got a lot of fans. Not just in Nigeria, we have people in South Africa, people from Kenya, people from Tanzania, people from other African countries saying that they want to be a part of the MPL, and how can they participate in the Nigerian Pro League. But it literally says the Nigerian Pro League. But what we're trying to do is to drill the Nigerian players, because we have a lot of PUBG Mobile teams in Nigeria, and we are trying to ensure that they are best prepared for global tournaments, for regional tournaments, for international tournaments. It's very important that we try to make this tournament Nigerian centric, sort of, because we do have other international tournaments that involve other African countries, sub-Saharan African countries, like the La Coupe de Africana that we run. Like, that was the first African Community Cup, and La Coupe de Africana featured over 15 African regions plus 5 wildcard regions, making it about like 20 African regions in participation. We had almost like 100,000 views on YouTube, and the support was massive, because we had it streamed in almost 4 or 3 languages: in English, in Swahili, in Arabic, in French. It was broadcasted in multiple languages. It was also casted by Mr. X Flip from SSG, and usually called Light Outs. And yeah, so it's been a milestone trying to drill the Nigerian players and also focus on the African players, because they have to be something that we're doing for the African players that involves them. And we also have to ensure that our players in Nigeria are best prepared for regional tournaments, for continental tournaments, for global tournaments. And the only way we can ensure that they are best prepared for that is by giving them something that is kind of like centric to Nigerians. So that's why we have the NPL, which is the Nigerian's biggest title, and we have NPL champions dominating the African scenes. We have NPL champions dominating the West African scenes. So for you to become the champion, you must have played a rigorous strings of like matches for you to get to that title. So there's no way you would not be exceptionally good when you are the MPO champion. So for us, that's what we're trying to do, to ensure that we get more champions in Nigeria, that teams believe more in themselves through the MPL. And for the next season of MPL, we are going to be introducing some new how do I put this, rules, some new um, rules that is going to definitely benefit other African countries and also global players too as well. So we're also looking at being inclusive after 5 years, and seeing how other people that have been requesting to be in a part of MPL can also, even if it's limited slots, be a part of it and compete for the title, the biggest title in West Africa, arguably Africa.
hey. So, wow, that's actually some big news, mate. And I'm looking forward actually to seeing a lot of those tournaments very soon. Okay, so regarding the game titles, what are your plans in the next coming year? Are you hoping to increase the game titles, like going to other game titles like Fortnite, Call of Duty Mobile, and other
Yeah.
titles? And if so, which titles are you looking at?
Okay, thank you very much for that very interesting question. And definitely, we can't just keep doing the same thing, over and over again and expect the same results. So we have to definitely look for new titles to add, and new games to also promote, and just be inclusive, because not everybody plays battle royale. Some other people love to play like card games, like puzzle games, like racing games, and they're also gamers, right? Because they're like millions and millions of people within those communities. So we are also looking at engaging everybody from Rocket League League to Meta Strike to Fortnite to Counter Strike to Valorant. I mean, all games are welcomed on the 10N8E platform. So we're looking to increase our portfolios in terms of the games that our sphere of interest in terms of the games that will feature on our pages and the games that we host, tournaments that we host,
Mm.
and definitely would try to ensure that the kind of content that we create moving on and from next year appealing to not just gamers but also to non-gamers, to casual gamers, to people that just want to be entertained, because not everybody can sing but everybody really loves to listen to music.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
if not everybody can play video game, let video game also have like this fan base where people just want to see Dombash with his lovely looking cowboy hat from Banda, very very fly. I would love to get a copy of that though. But yeah, that's kind of hard. And let them be entertained that Dombash is here and stuff like that. But yeah, it's cool to make it to make the esports scene of like open to both competitive, casual, and non-gamers, in my opinion.
Oh, really, that's a strong word. Okay, so now you've already told us that we are expecting other titles. So, which platform now will you be more interested in?
Okay, so yeah, I did mention that we were going to pick some interest in Rocket League, in Counter Strike, in Meta Strike, in CS:GO, in on like Fortnite. So again, it's like PC games, console games too as well, mobile games too as well. So we don't want to limit it to just one genre of games where people just play, say, PUBG Mobile and that's it, or people just play Call of Duty Mobile and that's it, like Free Fire. So Free Fire guys should also be able to interact with the Call of Duty Mobile players. They should have a central community where they can all mingle. Once you download your Free Fire and you want to play with Free Fire people, you can just
Yeah,
send your ID to the community and just be like, oh, who plays Free Fire? And you get like 100 people be like, oh,
yeah, yeah.
add me, add me, add me, and stuff like that. Like, I remember you behind the scenes showing me your tablet and seeing that we have almost the same games. We have like almost the same games: Call of Duty, PUBG, Fortnite, Free Fire, Call of Duty. Sorry,
Apex.
Warzone. Sorry, Apex. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, and also
T3
yeah. So
Arena.
so all of those games exactly T3 Arena. So yeah, it's pretty much like we play all these games and they're all fun games and places where you can create multiple content, because at the end of the day we are just trying to play these games to create content. That's
Yeah,
one thing that people need to understand, that the future is going to be content. So as a
yeah.
gamer, as a player, you need to be able to create content for yourself, for your team, for your brand. Like that's what the future is going to be about. So that's just what it is.
Okay. So, in short, 2023, we're expecting 10 and 8E to be hosting several tournaments
Oh
across
yes.
all platforms.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Yes, yes. So we are going to be hosting tournaments. We have the Deca Cup tournament that runs for Call of Duty, for Free Fire, for Mobile Legend. I think those three games for the Deca Cup titles that we we host in 1080, and
mm,
we're going to be having the season 2 of the Free Fire Deca Cup in 2023. We're going to be having the season 2 of the Mobile Legend Cup in 2023. We're going to be having the season 3 of the
mm,
Deca Cup for Call of Duty Mobile that was sponsored by Monster Energy 2 as well in 2023. And we're also going to be having the Nigerian Pro League in 2023 as well. So the Nigerian Pro League, I can see on chat that somebody was asking if it's limited to just Nigerian players, and it's not limited to just Nigerian players, but it's limited to in the past it's been limited to just Nigerian teams. So some new rules will be implemented that is going to make your questions and your answers and your suggestions, count. But for now, it's just limited to Nigerian players and Nigerian teams. But you need to stay tuned to the MPL channel, to the 10N8E channel, to find out the new MPL rules that is going to really favor all your questions being asked. But yeah, you can participate if you are on a Nigerian team as probably one of the only player registered on that particular roster playing the tournament. Then you can also be a part of the title, or you would have to stay tuned for the updates to be released. But yeah, we're going to be having Deca Cup for all our titles, and also the Nigerian Pro League, MPL for PUBG Mobile, and we're also going to be for the first time for the Nigerian Pro League selling out, like putting out merchandise for sales. That's for MPL merchandise, so people will be able to get the MPL official MPL custom jerseys. They'll be able to get the MPL caps. They'll be able to get the MPL key rings, and they'll be able to get the MPL chains and stuff like that. So it's a whole bunch of stuff coming up next year for 10N8E and for MPL as a whole.
Okay, so for the time being, let's actually check on the live chat and see what these guys have to say. Okay. So okay, here you go. We can see now we have several people here asking. Oh, my friend, there will be no rooms at the moment because people are actually used to me hosting custom rooms. So for now, we are having a podcast. We are having an interview, a small interview. Then we'll be back. We'll be back. Okay, so here we can see we have someone here asking, saying, actually, it's I think he's just saying, if they want to promote Africa, let them make African nation competition.
Yes, okay. So that is a very, very brilliant question. So we do have something like that, but probably the person asking the question wasn't in the esports scene when we hosted the La Coupe d'Africana in 2020. That was a massive tournament. That was like literally 2 years ago. Going to be 3 years from next year. So that was a massive tournament, and that included a lot of African countries, a lot of languages, a lot of tribes, a lot of culture. The prize pool was about $1,500 US. It wasn't really much, but everybody was really excited to be a part of it. We were just excited that we were playing with the Egyptians. On the Discord, we had like Arab chats, we had English chats, we had French chats. So the French guys could connect, the Arab guys could connect, the English guys could connect. So something like that is what he's talking about, and we are also looking at bringing that back in 2023. So this is going to be major. You guys just have to stay tuned to find out La Coupe d'Africana Season 2 coming up in 2023. Announcement is going to be up very soon. You guys are going to be thrilled to find out the partners that are going to be involved, the prize pool that is going to be captured there, and also the regions that are going to be participating. So we are going to also be producing probably the next PMGC champions from La Coupe d'Africana Season 2. And you guys just have to stay tuned to find out how it goes.
Okay, so I think Red Fox, your question has been answered. We should also okay. So someone actually seen the NPL and suggested also we have Kenyan PUBG League. That will be KPL.
That ain't gonna be a bad idea, though. That's not a bad idea. I'm signing up to that. All right.
Okay. So let's see here, and see we have another. I'm trying to look for a question here. Seems like many people actually asking about the rooms, the custom rooms, of which we don't have today. And the rooms, okay. So it seemed like that was just about it. Okay, so regarding the tournaments, what do you actually look at in players who are actually participating in that tournament? Who actually what I'm trying to say is if someone wants to participate in the tournament, what do you actually look at? Or what are the requirements? What are the requirements?
Right. So the fundamental requirements for participating in in the MPL is first you have to be a Nigerian citizen. At least a majority of the team have to be Nigerian citizens in Nigeria, so it can be a fair playing field for every other person or every other team participating. But for our other tournaments, they are all African this tournament, Call of Duty Mobile tournament. We had like a team, Passion, a South African team, coming in like third. We had like a Nigerian team, like Eternals and some other teams too as well, participating in the tournament. So it's like open to all African regions. For the Free Fire too as well, we did like an all African region tournament, and that's also open to all countries in Africa. And yeah, next year we're going to be looking at doing something big for all Africa for PUBG Mobile under 10 and 80, which is something we haven't done yet. And I know that's what everybody's been waiting to find out what we're going to do for Africa as 10 and 80. But yeah, we're going to be doing something. At least we'll come up with something and announce. But our schedule still remains the same. We're going to have our Deca Cups for all our games. We're going to have our MPL Season 6, and yeah, it's just going to be bigger, better, with better production, better management, and better casters this time.
Ah, looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so another thing is regarding a player. Like, let's say that I want to participate and I just open my account. My account, is there a restriction regarding levels and everything for an account to be able to participate in the tournaments?
Oh yes, you have to, your account needs to be like on level 37 or 38 or 40. So we need to ensure that you've been playing the game for a while, not like you just open the account to cheat.
Mm.
So we really try to scan and scrutinize every single player on the MPL roster. I don't think MPL literally is one of the tournaments where in West Africa where the players get properly scrutinized by several admins and even the community members, because after we finish scrutinizing the players, community members will start finding what's happening too. So everybody does their investigation on MPO because everybody knows each other. It's like a family game. So you can't cheat. So we know who you are. We know your gameplay in MPL. So if your gameplay change, your friend will tell your friend that, bruh, this guy is playing differently. This is forget about MPL. This guy is playing differently. So those are like red flags. And we have grown the league so much so that we all know how we play in Nigeria, So we really value the credibility of the league. We value the transparency in terms of the rules, the structure. We try to announce rules beforehand so people don't act like they don't know. Because sometimes they be like, oh, we don't know that this was part of the rules, but they just didn't read the rules. And most of those kind of complaints that we get, I'm so sorry to say, it's not really, they're not really valid complaints, right? Because if you didn't check the rules properly and you make a mistake and something happened to your team, it's going to be on the team, it's going to be on the player. And in MPL or on MPL, we don't really try to favor any team, we don't favor any player. No matter who the player is, no matter who the team is, they get sanctioned. So we try to also ensure that we have more Nigerians playing locally on the league at every point in time. So it's more like, if at all we are trying to, expand, we can be like, oh yes, for MPL, there are more Nigerians playing MPL. No matter how big the league is, we still trying to maintain our normal culture and our structure too as well.
Okay. So earlier you say that you actually in some talks with the game developers. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Regarding that one, we have been getting people complaining regarding the ping and everything, the MS. So, what do you think about having an African server? Because, to my point of view, we have a lot of player in Africa who are
Yeah.
playing a European server. So, on my point of view, if we have an African server, my friend, people will be battling to the maximum with the
Oh yes,
the good ping we're gonna get here. And
I completely agree.
uh-huh.
Completely agree. I completely agree to that fact, and I'm not going to advocate for the game publishers for not putting some of these infrastructures in place, like getting African own servers, not just African getting the old regions in Africa, their servers,
Mm.
ensuring that at least in the four regions in Africa, we have a server in North Africa, we have a server in West Africa, we have a server in East Africa, and we have a server in Central Africa too as well. So everybody plays like on an even playing field. So I'm a very huge advocate for getting servers. That's why again we run the MPL to be able to at least gather data from the Nigerian PUBG mobile players centered and playing from this region in Africa, which is very, very large, and also trying to understand their challenges. That's why, again, we try to make it Nigerian centric so that we're able to understand the market. We're able to report to the publishers that these are our findings, these are the challenges that the players are going through. This is why we need a server here in West Africa. This is why a server is needed in Eastern Africa, and this is why a server
Good.
is needed in Western Africa and stuff like that. So it's more like a market research it's more like market research for us. So um we try to do that with MPO, and for the La Coupe de Africana, we also did that too as well. We had some teams in Zimbabwe, in some other regions, and they also had like some. I think they had like one major internet issue in Zambia or Zimbabwe in 2020. It was major, it was massive, but it was still market research because we were able to understand the challenges in some regions and better understand the market. What can we do to make pings better in those areas? What can we do to make ping better in Nigeria? What can we do to make our pings better in South Africa, in East Africa, in Kenya, and stuff like that? So we do need servers, and if we get servers in Africa, they are really going to help us compete on a global level. Even without servers, we still have African players competing at the maximum level. You know, we have players from Morocco, we have players from Egypt. These players are playing on a maximum level, and you're like, oh my God, if only all of Africa has servers and everybody have the capacity and infrastructure to play on this level,
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
going to boost the esports growth in Africa. So for me, I'm really advocating for more servers, and at least servers in at least the north, the south, the east, and the western part of Africa.
Okay. So that's it regarding the African server. So the thing is, what do these guys actually, these game developers, look at so that they can host a server in an area? What are the numbers they're
Okay,
looking
yeah,
at?
yeah. So first of all, aside from the numbers, yeah, the numbers is like a very, very numbers is first the lowering factor for them to be like, oh yeah, this is a good region. They need to ensure that they have lots of players playing the game in the region, in the country, and they also need to ensure that the country is secure. There is no insecurity happening. There is no because the infrastructure too are things that are very valuable materials, you know, stuff like that. So they have to ensure the security, and they also have to ensure the government policies in the countries because some governments make communication materials and stuff like this difficult to bring into the country. You know, so yeah, these are government policies are also part of the issues that the part of the factors that are making these game publishers back out from Africa. But if the government can be more enabling to the game publishers and also try to support the game brands to get the servers in the regions in different countries. So again, government support is also needed too as well. Minus their regulation, we also need the support of the government. So if all of those things can be in place, then I think we'll have more servers in Africa. But I don't know the conversations behind um yeah, so I don't know the conversations behind the publishers and the government, but I definitely know that there's always some tension, some heat with Twitter and the Australian government. There's always some heat with Google and the Indian government. There's always so you're not gonna know the behind the scene talks. So there might probably be some heat with all of these tech companies and the government rules. I remember that we had a major outburst with Twitter in Nigeria that Twitter was banned for almost like a year. So that was a government policy banning an international brand. So again, government policies really play a very vital role in the esports growth in Africa. So we also have to put that into consideration. they need to be more enabling, and we also need to ensure that the countries are more secured. So all of these things fall on the hands of the government, basically. So, yeah. So my own opinion is that I'm advocating for more servers to be in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Western Africa, in Eastern Africa, in Tanzania, everywhere. But again, we also need to understand why they are not servers in those areas, in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Tanzania, in some not South Africa, some other regions. But we need to just come to that fact that if things can be better, then the esports is going to grow. It's just the way things are right now. That's part of the reason why things are slow. But regardless, African youths, Nigerian youths are still playing with the limited resources that they have to compete on that global scene, with or without servers, to represent their country, represent their nation, because that's who we are.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so with your points, I think that the game developer usually actually look at the factors of safety on their equipment, because I'm sure servers are not cheap. They are damn
Yes.
expensive, damn
Yes.
expensive,
Yeah.
damn
Yeah.
expensive. Okay, so coming back to Africa, so how big do you see the esport industry, especially here in Africa? How big do you see it?
I see the esports industry in Africa as big as the African youth population, which is about 60% of the entire population in Africa. So if Africa is about 1.6 billion people, you can do the math to see how big esports is going to be. It's going to be in billions of numbers in terms of human capital, in terms of people playing in the nearest future. So for me, the youth population in Africa are really interested in activities. They're interested in like gaming. They're interested in networking. They're interested in trying to figure out how they can connect with one another. People are interested in their field, because even from the gaming, we make some kind of like life-changing connections. We make some friends that we can talk about school, talk about politics, talk about sports, talk about life. Some people even get married from the gaming space. So it's like a full network here. It's a full life. It's a full
Uh,
community. So the gaming space is going to be as big in the future as the Nigerian, sorry, as the population of the African youth in terms of percentage. So it's going to be in the billions.
okay.
It's going to be a major industry. Yes.
So actually, it's like we're having this gaming community as becoming more of a family than just
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And now coming back to the gaming, because I've seen several friends of mine quit gaming, saying that it's not worth it on their time because they're not getting anything in return. And
Yeah.
as gaming is becoming more and more competitive, people are actually having more time training and bettering themselves. So there are those casual players who are actually playing from time to time, end up actually losing interest in the game at all. Full. They lose the interest of the game in full hand, and they just quit playing. They prefer. I have a friend personally, a friend of mine who actually said that he was the one actually who made me to come to start playing PUBG, and now he's among the people who quit playing PUBG because he's saying, "Hey, my friend,
True story, bro. True
these guys
story.
are too good, mate. I can't play." The moment he lands, he's back to lobby. He's saying that these players don't have the respect that we usually have when we start playing, because if those time when we started landing together, people don't start fighting at the moment. People actually go to loot. So you can see now people actually losing interest because of saying like these players who are playing nowadays, they don't have respect of the game.
So first of all, in the gaming world, there ain't no respect. Ain't nobody respecting nobody in the gaming space. You're gonna get clapped by an 11-year-old on Fortnite that is smarter than your ass. Sorry, but he's smarter than you. He can build houses faster than you. He can shoot faster than you. He's got more accuracy faster than
Exactly.
you. You just
Exactly.
bad. You
Exactly.
just bad, bro. So
Yeah.
I mean, they know. Say I'm a old player, I'm a young player in the esports scene. You just got to up your game. You got to up your IQ. So for me, it's not about if you can't play competitively, you just go and retire. So your friend made the best choice for his mental health, for his mental health to go and retire. He was
Uh,
tired. He was so
uh,
traumatized by being clapped by
uh,
11-year-old, 15-year-old. He was like, nah, no, I'm their uncle, man. I should be teaching these guys in class, man. No, I can't be clapped like this. No. So I
hey.
don't. If you want to go, if you want to retire on that level, it's free to do that, right? So for me, it's about personal choice. I'm not going to force anybody to be on the esports scene, but I'm going to tell you guys that the esports scene is not for everyone, because it's not like instant gratification. You don't get paid immediately. You need to work a little bit, put in some months of work, put in some years of work. Then you start meeting the right people. Then you start, getting sponsors and partners. Then you start making connections. I think people just need to understand that it's a process. So if you get into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
scene looking to get paid immediately, looking to start playing for Cloud9 or 100 Thief on your first month, my brother, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna be so depressed after your 3 years, and you are not. Cloud9 doesn't even know you are after 3 years. So I mean, so yeah. So for me, it's like it's a gradual process, and people people that put too much energy in it
Mm,
are the people that pull out easily. So in
yeah.
the esports scene, I will tell you that still a leisure activities. Rules are rules. Do your best and leave the rest. Don't try to do too much, because once you try to do too much, you try to impress people, you try to be the best player, you try to be the best manager, and you realize that people don't see you like that. Then you get tired. You get how do I put it? You
Dem-
get like
demoralized.
depressed, moralized, right? So those are part of the reasons why people quit playing the game. As players, as community managers, because it's all a game, even community management, all of that. So once you stop, you've quit the game. You just pressed exit on the screen, and that's it for you. So the fact that you exit doesn't mean that the party don't go on. Like the show is gonna go on without you. So you just exited the match, and the show is still gonna go on. So unless you are like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and you get a deal with Hollywood, so then wrestling doesn't matter. But if you just quit wrestling, then you're gonna go broke. You're gonna be so fucking hungry, man, and you're gonna go back and be begging for your old wrestling deal. And but yeah, it works out for some people and it doesn't work out for other people. But for me, in the
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
in the long run, it's about just doing the best and knowing that what you're doing is right, and not trying to do too much, because once you do too much, then you're going to burn out your energy, and you're going to feel like you've given so much, and you didn't get this back, and oh, I'm going to go hang myself, I'm going to go jump in the well and stuff like that. So it's not just right.
Okay, nice, nice. So regarding since that you've just mentioned it that you were like a tournament organizer, and how actually I'm sure in any tournament there are
Yeah,
conflicts. There are conflicts. So how do you handle
yeah.
those conflicts and disputes that arise in a tournament? How do you handle them?
We handle them by the books. Long story short, we handle them by the books. So if it's a rule that is in place that everybody knows, and yeah, a team breaks the rule, there is not really any better way to handle that incident, but than to just ask the team to refer back to the rule. You just broke the rule, and this is your sanction, and that's just it. So you don't have to stress it. So it's like you didn't read the rule, and you just broke the rule, and there's it. But in situations where the rules aren't really clear, we try to understand the team's perspective. We try to be considerate. We try to now work with the team to ensure that we know where the fault is coming from. If it's from our part or from the team's part, then if it's from our part, we'll make amends, we'll make adjustments. Then if the error is from the team's part, we're going to also try to work with the team and correct such errors from happening, to other teams as well. And, but for us, that's just what we try to do. But we just try to work with the books. We can't have all the rules set. The rules can't be perfect. Sometimes it's not just perfect, and a team have the right to bring it to our understanding and our awareness, and we're most of the time willing to consider, listen, and make adjustments.
Okay, so well, that's actually something. And now, what are the challenges that you have faced as an organizer in organizing an esports tournament in the past, and how have you overcome them?
Okay,
The
okay,
challenges. Those are
okay.
the challenges, not the conflicts anymore. Those are now your challenges.
Yo, it's been really challenging because again, you have to always keep up with what you do. The competition is hard. It's not about starting, it's about being consistent. So I think the real challenge is waking up every day and trying to um, do what you did yesterday better than the way you did it, so that people can learn from it, be inspired by it, and be motivated by it. So if you don't get that motivation to do that on a daily, then you know that is a challenge, because you have to always worry about people that might necessarily not even view the post, and you realize that you are just doing this and hoping that people are going to come watch, people are going to come like, and stuff like that. So all of those are part of the challenges that organizers, not just real organizers, not just 10N8E, everybody experiences. Oh, I've spent like 10 million naira, 20 million naira, or 5,000 US dollars, 20,000 US dollars, and I don't get the support, or I didn't get the support that is worth that money. Is a challenge for everyone, because sometimes you get major sponsors and you just don't get the exact numbers. But most sponsors that are um, how do I put it, that can see the future and understands the market, would understand that it's a gradual process. It's like a train. We are just starting the journey, and if anything goes wrong, the goal is to figure out what went wrong, how we can make amends, and how we can move on from there and do things better. But people just don't have that energy most of the time. So that's why that's what's challenging for most brands. That's why you see some brands shut down, some brands just disband, because maybe the driver lost his zeal or the energy behind the whole goal, because there's always going to be somebody driving the brand. There's going to be an energy force. For 10 minutes, it's always the boss. The boss is being the one putting in the work, putting in the ginger, trying to get everybody energized
Yeah,
and document sent.
he's
We are
trying to
talking around
spice everything.
3 a.m. Yeah, exactly. So that is needed in every organization, because at the end of the day, if you don't have that on a management level, on an admin level, on a moderator level, on a community level, then it's kind of like difficult to keep everybody in check. So that's why you see that WhatsApp groups, people that don't respond to WhatsApp groups queries, or
Hmm.
people that don't respond to Discord queries, it's as though there are no admins here. And it's saddening that this is what they just assume. But it's because the management don't flow with the community. They don't try to understand their point of view. They don't respond to their questions, to their DMs, to their tags, and mentions. So the community values all of those. So for me, in my opinion, these are things that can pose challenges to organizations. And if they are not resolved, and if they are not fixed, it's going to be a driving force to see an organization like just close or fold up or go bankrupt.
So in short, there should be a dedicated person in every section, like on the PR section, public relation. There should
Yes,
be someone there who's there. Specifically, his job is to just handle those cases that are always arising. And if someone actually
exactly.
he's
Yes.
registering, and the he said that he registered and he's not appearing on the website that he's registered, something like that. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let me see if we can have some other questions there on our lives. Them like kakabraza. Okay, then we have actually many people are actually asking about the rooms. Okay, today we don't have rooms. Today it's an interview. because we have schedule all on Wednesdays. One Wednesday there will be a room, and another Wednesday there will be an interview. And last Wednesday it was your chance, mate, and this Wednesday it's our Rio's chance to show us and explain to us regarding how he is able to manage everything. So now back to you regarding sponsors. If like let's say we want to have another sponsor, so what are the sponsors specifications or because for them to be able to sponsor, what are the requirements? Yeah, I know you're sipping one. I know you're sipping one.
I gotta
I know
I
you're
gotta sip
sipping.
with more stuff first to answer that question because that's $1 million question because you never can tell what the sponsors really want, but there's one thing that is constant that a team, an organization needs to be organized, they need to be structured, they need to ensure that all their platforms are working effectively, ensure that their staffs are inspired to work every single day. They need to ensure that their staffs are being creative every single day and creating new content, coming up with new ideas and marketing strategies and stuff like that. So a brand, it will be easier for a brand to hop on your marketing strategy than just hop on an online page that just posts contents and stuff like that. So what most sponsors are looking for is how organized are your activities, what are your schedules like, and pretty much it. Yeah, your document, your proposals, and all of those stuff.
But I'm sure usually sponsors look at numbers.
Oh yes, they do look at numbers. So the number is one of the biggest issues because the number is going to come with them even engaging your community. So before they engage you on a particular tournament, they need to ensure that you do have that structure, your organization and stuff. That was why I almost ended the conversation on structure because if your organization doesn't have the structure, if your team doesn't have that whole um, 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 online platform where they are being able to show the world what they are doing on a weekly, on a daily, on a yearly with a schedule, then there's no point even going further in the conversation because sponsors are not going, you're not going to get any sponsor in the first place. Then when you can show them that, you will now be able to show them the numbers. Okay, on every single post, on every single comment, on every single event you've attended as an esports team, this was the number of views. As a tournament organizer, you hosted this tournament. This was the collective number of views, number of teams that participated. So all of those records are part of the proposal. So I just summed all of those things up on the proposal part. Then I summed the team's part to be just preparing in terms of structuring, focusing more on their branding, focusing more on their online pages, and just doing some of those.
Okay, so for in short, what we're saying is that for someone to have to get a sponsor, there must be something that has already been done before, so that they can review.
Oh yes, yes, definitely. So there have to be something that have been done before so that they can review, and that thing definitely needs to have like numbers, statistics, views, history that everybody can revise. So that is major. That's a no-brainer. That's major in terms of what sponsors are actually looking for. Some sponsors are actually looking for other things like how big the company is. Are there startups or not? Some people don't want to invest in startups, and some other people can look at the startup and be like, "Oh, this is a good startup. Let me put my money in here." But some sponsors will be like, "No, I'm not going to invest in startup. They're going to invest in the gig organization, and they put in millions of naira there or dollars there, and boom, it gets into like the trenches." So again, it depends on what the sponsor wants, and I can't speak for the sponsors, but I can always speak for the teams, and I can speak for the management team, that the management of the organization, that they need to be structured. They need to definitely get their act in check and ensure that whatever they are posting have to be like creative content. You don't just post like pictures of your team drinking beer and they're having fun in the job and you're an esports team. No, people want to really see your team activities, playing the game. They want to see your team, wearing the team merchandise. They want to see your team with the sponsors, kits, and stuff like that. So what you post on your social media pages also matters too in the scene.
Okay, nice. Okay, let's check now on the live chats here. You can see now we have Red Fox. I'll sponsor African PUBG Cup of Nation. Hey, Kakabran, we'll need to get in touch, my friend. We'll need to get in touch with you.
You said
Okay.
it's gonna sponsor it. Oh, it's gonna
Yeah.
sponsor. We have a
Yeah.
sponsor on chat.
So we
Oh,
already have a
sponsor on
sponsor on
chat.
chat. Yes, a Red Fox there. Nikuchocha.
Okay. Oh
Okay.
god.
So here we go. You can see, let's see, what are the steps taken to make sure that we have an African server? I think Rio has already answered that, but if you can add something.
Yes, so just to go back to that same point, for us to get an African server, the country slash the nation needs to have like an enabling infrastructure. You need to have like 5G, you need to have like 4G, they need to be like fiber, they need to be like internet connection and have security too as well. And you guys need to have like hosting farms because not every country or stuff like have hosting farms, because that's where they will have to put the servers and pay for hosting, which is going to be like major. So it's not just easy to just have a server in Nigeria or just have a server in Tanzania or just bring a server to Ghana or something like that. There are a lot of things that needs to be in check that the game publishers need to come and do some ground research. They need to partner with some companies, partner with some agencies to ensure that there's enabling infrastructure, there's security, and every single thing that they need to get the server in check. So yeah, so as much as I'm a very huge advocate for servers in Africa, I'm also a very huge advocate for government to fix some issues that are like not making these servers to come to Africa.
Okay. Okay. So I think you have been answered. D for the D. Okay, and we are seeing another question there as well, so from our sponsor there, Red Fox.
Oh, Red Fox is sponsor.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
Red Fox, Red
He's
Fox is an admin on your channel.
yeah. He's a friend of mine. We usually play together,
Ah, okay,
PUBG. Okay.
okay.
So he's asking, are these tournaments supported or sponsored by the government? Are the tournaments live streamed on your local television? So those are two separate questions.
Okay, so to answer that, not all esport organizations in Nigeria. I'm gonna speak to Nigeria alone because I don't know what the situation is in other African countries, but not all esport organizations in Nigeria have the license to stream the games on national TV or on cable networks. So that's going to be very tricky to see esport being streamed without the government approval or license. But there are some exceptions for like Red Bull and Red Bull tournament is being streamed on Super Sports, and that's like a PUBG Mobile tournament where we had some of our teams in Nigeria participate in that such kind of like tournaments, and those tournaments are being streamed on cable networks by Super Sports and sponsored and powered by Red Bull.
Your voice is out. Your voice is out. You can't hear.
So stream. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. So it was cut when you're saying about has been streamed by Super Sport. Then it went silent.
Okay. Okay, but is my voice back on now?
Yeah, it's back. It's back.
All right. So yeah, so some people do have license like SuperSport, Red Bull to stream their event on cable network, but most game organizers in Nigeria don't really have the license to stream their events on cable networks.
Okay. And regarding sponsorship or supported by the government?
Supported by the government, I would say that Lagos State, which is like the one of the most popular states in Africa, with about 26 million people, do have the government support, which is the Lagos State government. They support their esports association under the Lagos State Esports Association, which is under the Lagos State Sports Commission under the Lagos State government. So Lagos State do have a state support for esports, but unfortunately, it's not nationwide. We don't have such support in other states in Nigeria. Nigeria is made up of 36 states, and that's just one of 36 states. And yeah, so that's the level of, in terms of government support that we do have. It's just Lagos doing a lot of stuff, and yeah, I'm thinking that Abuja is also going to be getting into the scene hard next year.
Okay, and as you're saying, Lagos has an esports on its own.
Yes, Lagos State Esports Association have a regulatory body. It's not like an esport on its own. It's more like a government support, a state government backed association that regulates the esports and also provide opportunities for esports stakeholders in Lagos State and in Nigeria.
So it's like it's a department from the sports
The state
ministry.
government, yes, sports commission, yes, from the sports
Okay.
ministry, yes, yes,
So
yes.
it's one of the department there for esports, especially for esports. And how often
Yes, in Lagos State.
do they do the tournaments, or how often do they support or sponsor tournaments? Is it
Oh, yes, they
weekly
do.
or monthly or yearly?
So for Lagos State esports, they do support tournaments. Not likely not host most of the time. So they regulate, they support, they partner, they work with esports organizations to run qualifiers and stuff like that. So in terms of how often they host their event, is as often as the esport organization that they're in partnership with are hosting those events. So if they are like active events that they're in partnership with an esport organization to host, then that's how often the content are going to keep rolling in for Lagos State Esports.
Oh, that's one supportive department, my friend. I wish we had
Oh
that
yeah.
department here as well.
Oh,
Because
yeah, I wish we have it in all 36 states of Nigeria. So it's
yeah,
just, this is just in Lagos.
because actually that's one of the best news I've heard regarding a government having an esport department in their sports industry, sports commission. Because here at the moment, what is happening here is a bit tricky. So I can't say
Okay.
I can't give any details because it's tricky.
I'm not the one asking the question, so you can keep the details. But I would love to ask that question to be like, how is it going over there? But since I'm not
Yeah,
asking the question,
yeah. The thing is, yeah, it's a bit tricky. So it's more or
I
less
know government
things politically. Everything is everything is politicized. So
exactly,
first of all, we need to play safe, and then
exactly.
we empower the esports industry with whoever is ready to support.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's see if we can have. Okay, seems like Red Fox is asking, why don't they host a 4v4 TDM nation competition? That's for PUBG. A TDM competition for PUBG.
Okay, that's going to be just one answer is going to be too bloody. We don't want to waste. We don't want to spill too much blood on the continent. so,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
just to answer that, it's gonna be too bloody. But
Okay.
again, to battle royale, especially for PUBG Mobile, have a lot of views, a lot of support. People like to see the circle when it's big and when it's small. They like to see that last action. For other games, TDMs really make more waves. But for PUBG Mobile, battle royale is like the game to play and the mood to be playing.
So it seems like it's a no-no for the TDM.
Nah, it's a no-no for the TDM. For my part, I don't know if anybody wants to recognize it today. For me, I feel like it's gonna be too bloody. It's gonna be just ratata, ratata, ratata. That's all. Ratata, ratata. What's going on?
Okay, so in short, you're saying that it will be short.
Yeah, short and too hard. It's gonna be too hard. Like you're gonna see too much OP movement. People just coming in too hard. So again,
Okay.
it's a possibility, but it's not something that we have in our plan. But I would really love to watch that kind of tournament, a TDM All African tournament. I would love to see the mayhem and the craziness there. But yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll see. We'll see if something comes up, and I will surely to let you know so that you can watch it. Okay. So let me see if there are other questions there, and if not, I think we'll be wrapping up. Like everyone actually is asking about rooms. Everyone is asking about custom rooms. Ay, 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 Kakabrat. Okay, rooms will be available tomorrow. Tomorrow is where the rooms will be available. For today, we have an interview. Okay, so seems like at the moment we don't have any more question, and uh, with you actually handling actually replying me, you actually replying me in details. I'm asking you one question, you are replying me and answering the other question, which my questions are aligned. So you ended up answering all my questions. So regarding, let me see if I can have
Great.
this question actually phrased in the right way. How do you handle the financial aspects of an esport tournament, including the budgeting and the revenue generation and everything? How do you handle it?
So that's a very major question because it's not something that is easy to manage. It's something that we need to plan beforehand in terms of the budgeting. Like in 10N8E, we've been trying to sort out the entire budget for next year, and it's a very very huge budget. So we need to ensure that we are getting the figures right. But it's not something that we can just or brands just have to post and just work on and just know what the budget have to be like for the coming year without doing proper planning, cost to cost for every single tournament every month. So what is it going to cost to run this tournament per month? What How many tournaments are you going to be running in the year? So what's that cost going to be like? How many people are going to be paid? Who are the people that are going to be volunteering? Stuff like that, because it's very very tricky with the budget. So with the budget, it's just, we do the best that we can, ensure that every single thing is being accounted for, and also manage every single one on the team, ensure that they are being compensated for their services, because that's very very important, especially when you are hosting tournaments. We have to ensure that, or we do definitely ensure that the staffs are being compensated, so that they have the energy to keep moving on. It's not going to be easy to host tournaments without some sort of like settlement and stuff like that. So these are the things that I feel like makes the budgeting easy when everybody understands the goal. So if it's going to be a monthly payment system, it should be a clear conversation between the general manager or the organization and the team. If it's going to be a tournament payment system, if it has to be a volunteer payment system, because again, people can pay you by you just being volunteers in their company, because by you volunteering to be a part of the MPL, you are also coming to understand how to manage tournaments, gain industry experience, and also advertise yourself too as an esport organizer. You can add it to your portfolio and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, volunteers also have a lot to benefit in 10N8E, and we also have our staff, and we have the community managers, and we have people that we compensate on an event to event basis. We have people that we also compensate on a monthly basis, and we do have people that we compensate on a just giveaway basis, because we can do giveaways and decide to just also add that to the budget too, like in terms of how much are you going to spend on giveaways for the year, how much are you going to spend on giveaways for the month. So these are things that makes the budgeting kind of like tricky, because some months have like festive activities where it's ideal for you to spend more on giveaways in such months, like, so some months just have like regular months, and you are wondering, why do I have to do giveaways in January? Like, who wants to relax? We just finished December. Who wants to spend money on January? So some months are like that too as well. So the budgeting basically, it's not something that can be rushed. It's not really ideal to rush budgeting. It's good to have an overview. It's good to get the figures right, and definitely good to make planning before getting into budget. So without planning, it's going to be difficult for you to run your budget, because you might discover that you're budgeting on some things that are not really necessary, and or are not giving you the figures that you need. So
We
if
can't
the
hear you. We
budget
can't
is
hear
going
you.
to be,
Okay. Yeah,
oh my god, sorry.
back. It's back. It's back.
Yeah, sorry, my I'm using my phone camera. All right, so I feel like getting the plans in check and plan and budgeting works together. So once the plan is in check, then it makes the budgeting easier. So you know exactly what you are spending your money on, and you know exactly the projects will be running and things, the people that you need to pay and stuff like that.
Hey, I think that's good. Okay, I've been having this idea, and I would like to hear your views regarding
Okay.
having esports
Okay.
in schools.
Hmm.
Yeah, because schools usually support like swimming sports, soccer. They are supporting those are actually kind of sports, rugby and
Yeah.
running as well, the marathons. So why don't we have also the esports part of it in schools? Do you think it's possible we can have them in schools? And we can have like a inter schools here competition here and there.
Oh yes, yes, it is possible. It is totally possible. So I'm going to speak again to the situation in Nigeria because for us, for me, I always try to do some research as to why things are the way they are and why things are working some kind of way. And I also realize that if we have to introduce esports in schools, there are going to be like some boundaries because some games in esports requires like this, they promote violence, like shooting, blood and stuff like
Mm.
that. So some people really have phobias for red, not just blood, and they also have phobias for guns and stuff like that. So it's going to be like really tricky to really get esports into some certain level in terms of educational system in Nigeria. I don't know about some other African countries, but I feel like that's also what they'll be experiencing. But if they have to be like esports and gaming in schools, it has to be like games like T3 Arena, games like Limited
FIFA
Red, Free Fire, and stuff like that.
and
So
FIFA for soccer.
yeah, FIFA, yeah. So games that have like that are like that just promotes that whole team bonding and stuff like that. So that's why it's going to be tricky to really introduce esports in schools. And also we need to also consider the religion aspect in terms of esports and gaming. So MPL season 4. That was last year. This year was MPL season 5. I was privileged to interview one of the participants that registered for the tournament, and the guy was from northern part of Nigeria, and he said that they have issues with explaining that esports isn't gambling
Mm.
because gambling is against the religion in the north. So there need to be some awareness. Like in Islam religion, it's not good for you to gamble. So people in the north in Nigeria thinks that esports is free money, is gambling. So we need to also educate people that, oh, this is not free money. This is your child playing tournament for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and has won this team, won the other team. So there's like some certain level of education that needs to be in place too, in terms of sensitization, so to say.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, it's very important that we put all of these things in place before we even consider introducing esports in schools. If not, we're going to have problems with some parents because parents are the ones who pay the tuition fees for these kids, and we also need to ensure that the parents are cool with the teachers, with the school management teaching them esports, with the Fortnite, with the guns, with the blood and stuff like that. But again, it's still relative because there are other games that they can play that they can still earn money from. I think there was a Fortnite tournament in 2020 that a 16-year-old boy won about $1 million or $3 million. That was a
3 million.
three, yeah. Hey, three, great. That was a huge. Even if the American
Booga.
government took a lot of, that was even if the American government got a lot of money for taxing that $3 million, but it was a lot of money for a 16-year-old boy, and that shows you that esports can really be like a breakthrough for families. Not this $3 million can change the life of any family in anywhere in the world, not
Yeah.
Nigeria, not America, not the UK, like you anywhere in the world, $3 million is a lot of money.
Yes.
It's a lot of
It's
blocks,
a
it's a lot of cheddar,
lot. The
a lot of
greens.
cheddar.
A lot of
You know.
greens. Yeah. Surely, surely.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so pretty much, we just need to educate them to figure out how they can understand that these are like business opportunities for their kids. That we have gotten to the stage where a 16-year-old can take care of the family. You know, they can win some money that can take care of the family, not directly, but they can at least contribute to things happening in the house just by doing what they love to do.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a good actually initiative. Huh? Oh, we need to start on that one.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see if there is another question here. It seems like okay. Do you do you have organization in school? Okay, I think you've already answered that one. I think this guy has the same idea that I'm having. Hey, he want to have introducing a club in schools and international schools to participate. Ready to
Oh
support.
yes, in some schools in the United States, like you can have like California esports, or some so states are supporting esports in other regions where they are teaching esports in schools. They have esports clubs, but in Africa, we are even still trying to get people to be a part of Jet Club. Now we have to tell them that it's an esports club. People, I know that
Yeah,
people will love esports club to Jet Club. I'll have loved to
yeah.
be in an esports club than Jet Club.
Eh,
But yeah,
surely,
so
surely.
uh,
I think the moment we open an esports club, it will be packed. I think
yes,
others
yes,
will leave those other clubs and come to the esports one.
yes, like Jet Club. So again,
Yeah.
yeah, so it can be fun. It's actually fun in other parts of the world, but this is Africa, where we are being kids and students are being trained to act some kind of way, do some kind of stuff, do like this, be like this. They don't really allow African teenagers, African youth to be themselves, to express themselves, to follow their passions, to follow their dreams.
The
So this is one of the
talents.
challenges that their talent, yeah. So it's one thing that African mothers always knows what's right for the kids, even if they are, they are always right, but they can be wrong, right? So they can be wrong. But yeah, we also need to believe more in the African child.
Okay. I think Yobi Oshira, that question has been answered by yours truly there. So I think that has me walked up. Of course, my friend, you've given me a lot of information. I need actually to sit down and just craze and cream off some of it, mate. I need to have that set on a piece of paper and jot every point out. And I think I think of writing a book with it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so I think we've come to wrap up our interview today, and maybe you like to give our viewers any last word, not last words, but what can I say?
You know what my last words are gonna be. Die all over up. Po po po. That's victory served. That was my last words.
Don't remind me that at the time we played Fortnite, my friend. Don't remind me that one.
Fortnite,
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
bruh. So
Okay,
yeah.
so
So
maybe you can give these guys your encouragement and regarding the esports industry and what they should expect in the coming years.
okay, right. So expect that there are gonna be cars as prize pools in esports in the coming years. People are gonna be giving out cars, win a brand new Mercedes, powered by Mercedes, Tesla, baby. So they're gonna be winning all of those in the next few years. That's just an over exaggeration of the investment coming into the esports scene in
Hmm.
Africa.
It's cutting off. Mike is cutting off. Can't hear.
In the coming years, we are seeing branded. I think my. Oh yeah, so it's back.
Yeah, it's back.
I'm back. Yeah, sorry for that. So yeah, we are going to be seeing a lot of investments coming into esports, especially in Africa in the coming years, and we already started seeing a lot of brands like Monster Energy now actively competing with a lot of competitors in the scene. We do have brands like G Fuel that have been sponsoring esports for years, over like 5, 6, 10 years now, and it's just been a remarkable journey to see how these brands are beginning to see Africa as a valuable market for them to promote their brands, and also to fuel gamers that are really burning energy to talk, to game, to play with their friends. So you always need a Monster close to you, you always need a Red Bull close to you, you always need a G4 close to you. As long as you game, you talk, you need water, literally water close to you. Like, you need to always be hydrated. So I would just try to, my last words to the people exactly to you all today is to keep hydrated and keep doing what you're doing in the esports scene, and just know that whatever you're doing, try to be the expert in your field. If you are into community management, if you are into content creation, if you are into professional gaming, whatever you are doing, just try to be the expert in your field, because as long as you're the expert, you are different in that field, then you're going to get more support, more investment, and more opportunities than the average person in the field. So it's more of believing in yourself as the African child, because we are all the African child who are like really, really lucky, privileged, and blessed to be on this continent that is untapped with a lot of natural resources, a lot of talent, a lot of huge youth populations, that are going to like change the world in the future. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of money coming into esports. The players are going to be getting a lot of tournaments next year. There's going to be the MPL. There are going to be Deca Cups. There are going to be a lot of international and global events. And yeah, so pretty much nobody should try to quit right now because of some dumb depression and some dumb competition. So it's just for you to, try to do what you're doing, and be strong, and just know that the future is bright. And yeah, the future is bright.
Okay, guys, you've heard from the one and only Rio. Actually, I think he left something out, huh? He left something out. Le Cap de Africana Season 2 is
You
coming.
just got to finish La Cup. La Cup de Africana season 2 is coming, baby.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's
yeah,
going to
yeah,
come
yeah.
back very, very hard. We're going to be having a lot of African countries participating. We've been getting a lot of requests about bringing back La Coupe de Africana. A lot of support coming in from admins. We've gotten all the pages back online. We are going to be creating like a website, a landing page, so that people can now register in an orderly manner this time. We're going to be having major sponsors. I don't want to mention the name of the sponsors right now, but we do have a major sponsor for La
L-
Coupe de Africana,
let it be
and the advert and
mysterious.
publicity. Oh yeah, it's as mysterious right now. I'm not about to mention it on your stream. I'm
Yeah,
going to mention
yeah.
it to the La Coupe de Africana stream, where that you will be streaming. Welcome to the La Coupe stream. These
Yeah,
are
yeah.
our sponsors. This is
I,
streamed by Dog
I
Bash.
will be there as a caster, inshallah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yes, yes. Okay, so guys, you've heard it from the one and only Rio. As you all know, he's the founder of the Cap de Africana Season 1. And he made that event one of the most successful PUBG Mobile event in Africa. So we have been looking towards him for the next season. And I know it's been dragging, but it's there. It's already there now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is there.
Yeah, it's already there. So now, as Rio has already stated, the next year will be 1 year full of tournaments. So if you're a gamer, make sure you have several games on your device, my friend, because we'll be having several titles as well. It's not just PUBG Mobile anymore. It's now PUBG Mobile,
Sir.
Call of Duty Mobile,
Yes,
Apex
sir.
Legends Mobile. We have also Fortnite there in the list there as well. And I believe we'll be having also FIFA in the list, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
guys, it has been a pleasure, guys, having you as the actually patient audience there with you. And thank you, Mr. Rio, for joining us here. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again next time, because I'm sure we'll be having you here next very soon, because the way things are going, I'm very sure I'll be calling you once again.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, I think this will be it for us here tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for the custom rooms you've been asking, my friend. Tomorrow will be the time for your custom rooms, inshallah. So, guys, till then, guys, take care and God bless.
DJ Bird, Exit made this.